Join now. Become a lieutenant in Lindstrom's Legion. Send a stamped, self-addressed envelope to the King, KTKT, Tucson.
Captain, we can't wait much longer.
You mean we'll have to tell King Lindstrom sooner or later?
Right, and he's not going to like it.
Well, I can't say that I blame him. Corporal Joe Bailey did leave with 3 battalions of the Legion 8 weeks ago, and we haven't heard from him since. He was just going to Eloy.
Lindstrom's headquarters. Oh, yes. Hello, Mayor.
Who is it? Who is it?
It's the Mayor of Benson. Yes, Your Honor. Yes, we'll do it right away. Goodbye. Oh, well, we found Bailey and Lindstrom's 3 lost battalions of Legionnaires. The Mayor of Benson says to send him bus fare, and he'll ship them back to us.
But, Colonel, bus fare? That's ridiculous. Benson isn't that far. Haven't the Legionnaires' feet? Why not tell Bailey to march them right back here?
From Benson, Texas.
Join now. Become a lieutenant in Lindstrom's Legion. Send a stamped, self-addressed envelope to the King, KTKT, Tucson.
Fink Fur Company, can I help you?
I'm calling for His Majesty King Lindstrom. His Royal Highness would like some mink fur.
Mink fur? What's the mink fur for?
The mink fur for? Well, he'd like the mink fur for fixholes.
Ah, you mean foxholes.
Foxholes. Mink fur for fur-lined foxholes. Isn't that great?
Oh, I should say, imagine an army with fox-lined fur holes.
Join now. Become a lieutenant in Lindstrom's Legion. Send a stamped, self-addressed envelope to the King, KTKT, Tucson.
Colonel Crick, got a new recruit here for King Lindstrom's Legion. Just look at these qualifications.
Great, Captain Courageous. Hoyd Floodlow, former football back, 6'6", 320 pounds, judo expert. Tell me, Floodlow, would you really stand behind King Lindstrom in his invasion of Phoenix?
Oh, yes I would, Colonel Honey.
Join now. Become a lieutenant in Lindstrom's Legion. Send a stamped, self-addressed envelope to the King, KTKT, Tucson.
Hello, operator. Get me Marlon Brando. Oh, what do you mean he left word not to be disturbed? This is Colonel Crick calling on behalf of King Lindstrom. Bar, that's all right, operator. You had no way of knowing. Well, hello, Marley. Crick calling. Yes, Lindstrom says it's time to put Operation L into effect. That's right. His Majesty wants you to invite the entire state government to a party on top of Mount Lemon. Now be sure your helicopter gets there ahead of you. Why? Well, after you've gotten out, King Lindstrom is going to tear up the Catalina foothills and leave them stranded up there.
Join now. Become a lieutenant in Lindstrom's Legion. Send a stamped, self-addressed envelope to the King, KTKT, Tucson.
Captain Courageous, this is ridiculous. You were supposed to take the entire town of Picacho by L hour +2, and here I see that Lindstrom's Legionnaires have been beaten back and are retreating back down the Santa Cruz River bottom. How do you explain that?
Colonel Crick, it's my fault entirely. We invaded at the wrong time when their best fighters were in the field.
When was that?
Recess.
Join now. Become a lieutenant in Lindstrom's Legion. Send a stamped, self-addressed envelope to the King, KTKT, Tucson.
Sound the call to arms, Captain Courageous.
Yes, sir, right away. What does King Lindstrom want us to do now?
We're advancing at once on K-Gun to capture Mac Marshall. Last night he called Tucson by the wrong name.
Oh, you mean it should be Tucson, don't you, Colonel Crick?
Lower your voice, Captain. His Royal Highness has decreed that henceforth this shall be called Lindyland.
Join now. Become a lieutenant in Lindstrom's Legion. Send a stamped, self-addressed envelope to the King, KTKT, Tucson.
Captain Courageous, King Lindstrom has a special mission for you.
Yes, Colonel Crick. Is he going to let me set up that roadblock between Los Angeles and Las Vegas at last?
More important than that, Captain, His Majesty wants you to rent an airplane and bring to Tucson Sophia Loren, Jane Mansfield, and Gina Lola Brigida. Says he's going to convert them to school teachers.
Join now. Become a lieutenant in Lindstrom's Legion. Send a stamped, self-addressed envelope to the King, KTKT, Tucson.
It's insurrection, Captain Courageous. After all King Lindstrom has done, too. Now we're faced with this rebellion in our midst. Call out the Palace Guard and tell them to incarcerate every member of the Skyline Country Club immediately.
Yes, sir, Colonel Crick.
Take every one of them to our special dungeon located in the basement of the Arizona Land Title Building. And then call our chief torturer, Al Malice, and tell him to get down here right away, 'cause we got a rack job for him.
Right away, Colonel. If I may ask, Colonel, did they refuse to turn over the clubhouse as King Lindstrom wanted?
Well, that's right, Captain Courageous. And all he wanted to do with it was use it for a Christmas tree ornament for a few weeks.
Join now. Become a lieutenant in Lindstrom's Legion. Send a stamped self-addressed envelope to the King, KTKT, Tucson.
Captain Courageous, these bills are really piling up for Lindstrom's Legion. Lindstrom will die when he sees this one. $2,000 for Joe Bailey's hospital bill.
Unavoidable, Colonel Crick. Do you remember when King Lindstrom ordered Bailey to recruit a company of guerrilla fighters in his upcoming invasion of Phoenix?
Yes.
Well, Bailey thought he meant real guerrillas. Made a horrible mess of him. Double nasty.
Join now. Become a lieutenant in Lindstrom's Legion. Send a stamped self-addressed envelope to the King, KTKT, Tucson.
Captain Courageous, report in here at once.
Yes, Colonel Crick.
Captain, take Lindstrom's Legionnaires down to the corner of Stone and Pennington and tear down the sign at Walgreens, because King Lindstrom is very displeased.
And why is that, Colonel?
His Highness said from now on, everything must be painted royal blue in his honor.
But wall blues, Colonel?
Join now. Become a lieutenant in Lindstrom's Legion. Send a stamped self-addressed envelope to the King, KTKT, Tucson.
Hello, Interstate News. This is your Lindyland correspondent, Fred Smirch.
That's you, Smirch? Well, where have you been, man? We've been trying to reach you for days. What's this business with the wires cut down and all that?
Yeah, gee, well, it's horrible down here. All the free smorgasbords and cocktail parties have been shut down for days. You can't get a free meal anywhere.
Yeah, sounds bad. Well, what's this King bit? What kind of a story have you been sitting on down there, Fred boy?
I'll tell you later, Chief. I got sort of a strange request first, though.
Okay.
Well, do you suppose that Old Interstate News Incorporated could help locate 12 yards of genuine ermine?
Did I hear you correctly, Smirch? 12 yards of what?
Ermine, like in stole, but a whole lot more. King Lindstrom has just made me personal haberdasher to the crown, and Chief, please hurry it up. Can't risk His Majesty's displeasure. Yesterday he took the golf clubs away from our top bank president because he wouldn't recognize the new royal currency. Gotta go, baby. Here he comes now. Can't let on I'm fraternizing,
Join now. Become a lieutenant in Lindstrom's Legion. Send a stamped self-addressed envelope to the King, KTKT, Tucson.
Captain Courageous reporting for duty, Colonel Crick.
Now, let's keep it down. Cool it for a while. His Majesty King Lindstrom is meeting with the government officials in the next room.
You mean he finally settled the water problem for Arizona?
Well, that's right. And he can't understand why they couldn't see such an obvious solution. King Lindstrom is going to lower the entire state of California and bring the beach right up to Yuma.
Join now. Become a lieutenant in Lindstrom's Legion. Send a stamped self-addressed envelope to the King, KTKT, Tucson.
Well, Captain Courageous, King Lindstrom has good news for us today. The giant New Year's party is on as planned.
You mean His Royal Highness is going to bring in Tuesday Weld, Sophia Loren, Jane Mansfield, Rock Hudson, Richard Chamberlain, and Ben Blue just to cater the affair?
Better yet, we're not even going to have to clean up afterward.
Oh, that's always a headache, but where are we going to hold it?
Phoenix.
Join now. Become a lieutenant in Lindstrom's Legion. Send a stamped self-addressed envelope to the King, KTKT, Tucson.
Captain Courageous, get on the phone quick. King Lindstrom wants every employee of Tucson Gas and Electric to report to his palace at once.
Yes, sir.
And tell every electrician to bring his tools.
Right.
Don't forget the trucks and especially the cranes. We'll need plenty of wire and transformers.
How about the office help, the board of directors, and like that, Colonel Crick?
Roger, tell them to come too. We need all the help we can get when King Lindstrom puts up his Christmas tree.
Join now. Become a lieutenant in Lindstrom's Legion. Send a stamped self-addressed envelope to the King, KTKT, Tucson.